Evening, folks. I hope this finds you well and relatively dry. Been a weird sort of weekend so far. Couldn't make up its mind yesterday if it was going to rain or not. Or more to the point, if it was raining or not, because it kind of did, but kind of didn't. And it's same again today for this morning, but this afternoon though it has cleared up, and I am sitting out here, even though you can't see it, though looking at, you might see some stars looking in the background, but I'm just sitting up looking at the Milky Way because it is such a clear night here. I don't have a roaring fire, it's not actually that cold, so I do have a light jacket on. It's more for the ambience of having the fire. Glad I chopped up that firewood, or cut down. I didn't cut down, I cut up the first couple of trees I'd already knocked over. Speaking of which, I had an epiphany yesterday. I've got my firewood holder on some concrete blocks right next to the house. And I thought, well, hang on a minute. All that lovely wood sitting there right next to the house. Isn't that just an invitation for termites? Especially since it's the blocks are right up against the house and it's nice and dark behind it. So I shifted it today, moved it down a few metres away just beside one of the water tanks. Had to unload all the firewood. The firewood I chopped down on Wednesday evening, chopped up on Wednesday evening I think it was. And that was fun. Not the chopping up the firewood or the bits of tree that have fallen down as such. More that I just stacked it all in the or threw it into the lamb's yard. And then went and stacked it all in the wheelbarrow. I had to take 3 trips with the wheelbarrow. And the entrance of the lamb's yard is down the hill. So 3 overloaded trips of wheelbarrow back up the hill. And then when I went to throw it in the firewood holder, most of the bits were too long. Hello, Mr. Satellite. But I just, it was starting to get, it was already dark and it felt like it was going to rain, so I was just throwing them in there any which way to get out of the weather. And sweat was just streaming off me because it was hard work getting them up the hill. It's ironbark. It's a beautiful red ironbark, which apparently children used to be quite famous for until they cut them all down. Surprise, surprise. But Loki, really? Anyways, one other thing, apart from moving the firewood holder down from beside the house over to next to the water tank, I went and measured all those logs. They can't be any more than 36 centimetres long. Made sure they were all clamped them down, got the chance right, cut them all to 36 centimetres long. Kept all of it, of course, so all the offcuts were that'd be good for kindling and whatnot. So that was hard work. Took a bit of time. Saw the cattle suckling each other again. Stopped them. Turned around. They are doing it again. It's okay. So after I finished moving the firewood holder, and that was the other downside, well not downside, other consideration for moving the firewood holder, because they're on concrete blocks right next to the house, it had allowed dirt to get right up to the weep holes, which means that the termites can come inside the property because they can get to the weep holes undercover. Idiot. Anyways, not that there's much to eat in this house. Steel frame, but still, you don't want them to eat the trimmings and whatnot. So I'll tidy up the rest of that tomorrow. But yeah, after that, and then trimming the logs to size and putting them away in the firewood holder, I then figured, well, it's time to take care of these friggin' cattle and hopefully it'll work. Put some anti-suckling nose clamps on them. But to do that, I had to get them in the cattle crush. And I don't have cattle panels. So I had to make do. I had to be creative. So the cattle crush is in between a little walkway, so to speak, or pathway between 2 yards they've got. So I temporarily put some barbed wire across from one corner to the cattle crush, so when they were coming in they had to go through the cattle crush to get to the other yard, which is what you do with cattle panels anyway. And they went to go trotting in there. The first one, I did them one at a time as I brought them in from the house yard back into their yard. And Jenny went in there and went, "Holy shit, there's something there," because she was expecting just to be able to run past the cattle crush. Now she couldn't. But with a little coaxing, she did get in there, and unfortunately she has a big nose, so it took quite a bit to get the nose clamp on there, the anti-suckling device. But we got it. And I vaccinated her while she was in the cattle crush and let her on her way. Then there was Jupiter and Jazzy. And I spent the next 3 hours trying to get them into the cattle crush. Whether I either found a way around it, or I had it open too far at the other end and they went through it, so I had to let them back out into the house yard and then chase them into the, the cattle friendly, or it's all cattle friendly, but the area, the roped off area of the house yard where I want the cattle to be. But Jazzy was so happy to be in the man house yard, she was having a great old time, bouncing around and yay. But we got there eventually. And it got to the point where I actually had to run up a little bit of fake electric fence extending from their yard, so that when because they'd come along the fence line, get to the panel way, the walkway, which directed them, it was into the cattle crush. And instead of going up there, they just go, nope, which you can understand, they're not used to it, and keep going. So I, from one of the corners of the walkway, I put out a strand of electric fence down a couple of metres and across. So as they came up along the fence line, all of a sudden the only way they could go would be between the 2 yards and through the cattle crush. And they both followed each other, which was great. But then I figured, oh crap, what do I do now? Because one of them could wander out, so I just picked up the the electric wire, which wasn't connected or anything, but they recognise it. They know it goes zappy zappy. And just tied it off behind them so that end of the walkway was closed off. And got Jazzy with, she's got the anti-sucking device and been vaccinated, and same for Jupiter. They've all been vaccinated now and have anti-suckling little nose rings on, which I'll leave on for 10 to 14 days as the recommendation is. And then we've got to do it all again because I've got to take them off. Fun times. But we learned a little bit from this one. But yes, beautiful night here tonight, no wind. As I said, Milky Way's out. It's so dark and clear because we're cooler now, coming into the winter months, though we're still in autumn at the moment. So as it cools down, it's less heat haze and stuff in the sky. No clouds, but just the stars. Well, we'll see what tomorrow brings. I'm sure I know there's plenty to keep me busy, but I'll have the enthusiasm to do it. So far this weekend has been a blur. But this is a lovely evening though. It could obviously get quite cool overnight if it stays like this. It was supposed to be. It was funny last night when I was Wraith. Leave that alone. Yes, you. I saw you. Ah. So the trouble when it rains all the time is the ground is always wet. I mean, but there's something that irritates the boys' feet. Not all the boys, and it's a different set each time, like different dog each time, and this time it's lucky one is Wraith. And so I have to, like, they lick it and lick it and lick it and lick all the hair off it, and it's red, and obviously sore and itchy. So bandage it up, or coat it in iodine, bandage it up, change the bandage every day, new iodine every day. But just got to keep my eye on the little boy, because he does, obviously, it is irritating. So far it's only Wraith, but hopefully we won't get too much more rain. We'll see. Imagine wishing for the rain to stop when we need water. Oh. But as always, plenty to do, and I shall speak to you another time. Have a good weekend all.